This video is my honest advice to B2B SaaS founders who want to hit 7 figures, and I'm recording this one having generated 8 figures in client results for B2B SaaS founders I worked with. The first thing I want to share is you gotta focus 85% of your time on sales, and it's just gonna be insanely hard for you to get anywhere unless you do. The reason behind it is you're competing with people who've got millions, sometimes hundreds of millions in venture funding, huge teams, everything. And if you're trying to win them with product, most likely you have already tried, and unless your product is extraordinary, it's like trying to hit the first 7 figures in annual revenue without sales is like very hardly doable. So 85% of your calendar activities, you can open your calendar right now and see where your time is going. This is one of the first things I fix for founders when they join SaaS Camp, my coaching program, that we audit their calendar and see where the hell their time is going. Imagine how many times it turned out that they would be spending maybe a few hours a week on sales and marketing, and then it wonder why aren't they getting even like 5-10 meetings every single week. We fixed that first thing, and 85% of their activities are all sales marketing related. Guess what happens within a few weeks? Sometimes few weeks, less often within a month or two, but it's just you make it so much harder for yourself not to fill your calendar with sales opportunities if nearly everything you do in life is focusing on how to get more sales opportunities for your startup. And this is why this is the first thing you want to start with. You want to make sure that all your time, which is 85% of it, goes to getting more calls and closing the prospects that you generated in these meetings. This way is going to work out for you. Second, you want to build cash flow and figure out the rest later. Yes, you may get in situations when prospects will not be super excited about some features not working. But look, I recently collaborated with one startup. They started at 10K MRR. I told them, guys, 85% of the calendar focusing on sales. You nail the cash flow. This is going to get you the money to then sort out all the customer support and product issues later on. They did exactly that. They got from 10K MRR to 40K MRR within 5 months. That's like what, maybe extra $500,000 in annual revenue or so that they generated so far. Because if you try to please everyone and try to succeed without having any cash flow, yes, you might come into the B2B SaaS world from a couple other successful ventures and you have deep pockets, but the money is not unlimited, and that's why you want to secure cash flow first, because once you get the money coming in from the first 10, 20, 30 customers, at least you can then start outsourcing some of the activities that you're busy doing. Like you can place customer support so that the person would be fully focused on just making sure everyone is happy. This usually offloads half of your calendar. Then you can place the salesperson in, and it just gives you so much more freedom of action, which you don't have access to if you are not doing this. That's why, for example, a couple days ago, I talked with a founder, and it took them 8 or 9 years to get to 40K MRR, and that's just because they weren't putting that much focus on sales and marketing, and even they were, but what I found is the founder has been quite greedy in terms of their spend on sales and marketing activities, because even being beyond 30-40K or something, he was still not investing more than a couple grand in ads and outbound, and this is awful. And no surprise, it took him nearly a decade to hit the same revenue milestone that some of the guys I work with hit within a few months. Like, you don't need to delay this so much. Once you have the cash flow coming in, this gives you a lot more freedom to sort out all other issues that you may be facing with in your business. Third one I have here is you want to do many channels at the start to see which one performs best. Then you double down on the one channel which is performing best for you. You execute this channel until you hit 1 million in annual revenue, and then it allows you to expand further. So there is a lot of fights on the internet going on with Hormozy saying you do one channel until 1 million, then a couple other people say, oh, this is not the way you do it. So look, with Alex Hormozy, he started with ads, and ads is the most scalable channel of all, right? That's why when it comes to your growth, you can't predict which channel is going to perform best when you're starting out. And many times I see situations when a founder, for example, they start with LinkedIn outbound, for instance, And they continue doing this. And then I say, look, have you ever tried, say, cold email? They're like, no, because LinkedIn Outbound was getting them their couple meetings per week. We plug in cold email because it made a lot of logical sense. Boom, we're now booking like 10, 20, 30 meetings every single week. Now, to all these people who some cheer for one channel, others cheer for many channels, look, the way you approach it is the following. You test 3 to 4 channels at the start, allocating similar budget and similar effort to all them. Then with the same amount of effort and money going into them, you see which get you the most meetings and the most quality buyers. Keep in mind, you want quality buyers, because if one channel gets you more customers but shitty ones, you don't want to stick with that. And then you then double down on this channel until you hit 1 million in annual revenue. And then you have the funds to scale and reinvest in other channels. Potentially, if this one channel turned out to be ads, you may even continue simply with them and only expand later on. Number 4 is interesting. You want to act as if you have 20 calls on your calendar, even when you are just starting out and only have 1 or 2 meetings happening. I will explain you why. The way you talk to leads really translates into your marketing, and your marketing really affects how many calls you're getting and how many bookings there are. Once you get these meetings, if you talk to people as their Lord Savior, who is just, you're so grateful that they took time out of their day to come and see your product, no one is going to buy from you. And it's just the mistake I see so often, and which kills so many people's sales processes, is because imagine you start booking meetings from this one channel, you start seeing these leads, and then you start the calls with, Ben, thank you very much for coming. You know, we went back and forth a few times over email, but thank you very much. Yes, today I'll just show you the product. So yeah, where do you want to start? Yeah, show me the product and I'll see if I want to buy it. Yeah, sure. So we have this feature here, and also these 30 other features that you spent another half an hour going through. And then Ben is like, yeah, sure, we'll think about it. And you're like, yeah, okay, fine. Here's your free access and 1 year long free trial period. Just please use it. It sounds very ironic when I say this, but it just happens so often. And I'm saying this because even I was super guilty of it, that when growing some of my first startups, the thing which was happening is I put weeks of effort to start getting some meetings on my calendar. And once I would have these people start replying to me and book calls, they tell me, I can only do this time because they're in different time zone. I can only do 2 a.m. your time or 6 a.m. your time. I'm like, damn, okay, sure, that works for me. Then you come to this call, they have all the frame and all the authority, making it impossible for you to have control over the call and basically close it. Situation which happened recently is I had one founder come to me selling his B2B SaaS product for self-storage investing. I audit everything they're doing. I tell them, look guys, stop treating prospects like this. Let's start power framing people. The concept of the power frame means, okay, who has the authority in the meeting and who has more leverage. No matter the revenue stage you're at, you always want to be having more authority and acting as if they are lucky to be seeing your product that can tremendously help them save a lot of time and money. And your product better does deliver on that. So we fixed this thing with their sales process. And this was basically the major change we've done in addition to a few other ones. But just that brought them 62 grand in 6 days. And you can watch my other video on that, where basically they are sharing how impactful it's been for them, how we fixed their sales process. So even when you only have couple calls on your calendar, you do want to be behaving as if you have 20, 30 and you barely can keep up with demand. That's why instead of you saying, oh yeah, thank you for your reply, what would be convenient time for you to see the product? You go, okay, cool. The remaining slots I have for next week would be Monday this time or Tuesday that time. Which one works better for you? You want to be booking this way. And I guess just taking the last month alone, I think for 9 different startups, I fixed the way they're booking people in the calls, because the buyer journey starts even prior to people coming to the meeting. It's what the communication has been from the start. Then the process of how they got to this call matters a lot. And then what was happening inside this call. So you always want to have the power frame in your sales process, and you always want to have the leverage. This makes everything a lot easier. Lastly, I want to share the tip number 5 when scaling to the first 1 million ARR, and this is never stopping your lead gen. This is the most awful mistake you can make. I made it myself and it's just painful for me to speak on it, because imagine you have something starting to work out and you're like, oh cool, we booked 10 meetings for the week. Let me just focus on selling and closing them. No, you continue doing the thing which brought you meetings, and you not just get your foot off the gas, but you start going 2x the speed. That's how you need to start approaching it. So, I mean, I had a situation one time. The startup said, we booked like 15, 20 calls for this week. So yeah, we decided to pause our cold email campaigns and pause ads for now, because we're just getting busy and so on. I'm like, never do this. Never, because I will explain what happens. You have been building this compound effect in your pipeline for a few weeks to get to 10, 20 meetings. Then imagine you have this week with 10 or 15, 20 calls. And then you're like, okay, let me just focus on them and stop the lead gen. You have these meetings. Some people buy, some people don't. You're like, okay, now let us start getting back to our previous volume. And it takes you another 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 or 6 weeks to get to the same compound effect, if not longer. And you just lose so much money and so many deals that you could have otherwise have closed in this time frame, that it just kills your company and kills your month-over-month growth rate. So no matter how many meetings you have, never stop your lead gen, and always continue putting 85% into your sales and marketing, because I've yet to find a company that would put 85% of their effort and time into sales and marketing for a year and not have a good situation happen to their sales and marketing. It's just wherever you put the energy, within few weeks or months, that's when you start seeing the impact. So on that note, if you want more help getting your B2B SaaS startup to 1 million ARR, just go to saascamp.com and apply for my coaching, because there I have helped over 100 different B2B SaaS founders scale their startups. And already I think I helped them book a couple thousand calls. Appreciate you watching and have a fantastic